Okay, we are live. Welcome to the Super Agencies channel. We have a very special guest. It is one of our first clients in 2026, a friend first, but now a client, CloudSource.us. And this is some really cool stuff because we're going to be talking about IT solutions for regulated businesses. And what's really neat is I'm in the same wheelhouse of regulated businesses. We love real estate, mortgage, medical, finance, legal, all the stuff that is just very important nowadays. And what ends up happening is when you work with a service provider or somebody to manage your business, it can get a little daunting or scary if the person you're working with doesn't understand regulation or being highly regulated. So I want to ask you a few questions. Before we get into the questions about CloudSource.us, I appreciate you being here with me.
Oh, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Was it a fun experience?
Oh, it's awesome. This is great.
So paint a picture for what we've gotten into. You came and visited this week, and tell me, what did we do today, and what are we doing moving forward?
Well, so this is a relationship. This is starting off with yesterday, in fact, creating out of the gate, the first piece of content was the best piece of content I've ever had. And so CloudSource.us is now going to be branded with top tier quality content, and that's not just from the final product, but through the process that we've gone through. And so working with you has been a treat. I've learned a lot in the last 2 days, just sitting with you and spending some time on both sides of the camera. So it's been a treat. I'm really excited to see where we go from here, but I'm very, very confident that we have a marketing partner that understands what we're doing and understands how we need to get that message out to our customer in a meaningful, impactful way.
I think you hit the nail right on the head, and I appreciate that. You painted an excellent picture for professionals out there that might be watching this, because social media and digital assets have become extremely important, but also something that is a little daunting. It's kind of like the topics we're going to get into today about IT. It's one of those things that you can't necessarily see, touch, and feel.
Right.
Sometimes with social media, you can kind of touch and feel the response from it. IT is a little different from that capacity, but also there's an aspect to this that is sales-centric and sales-rooted. In other words, if you're doing marketing and it's not with the intention of sales, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. Not everything comes with a built-in ROI,
right.
But if you're turning it into clients, you're turning it into customers, if you're driving traffic to your website, that's the most important thing. We're supposed to be capturing eyeballs and capturing the potential for business in the future. Now, one of the things that business owners and sales leaders tend to get a little nervous about is getting in front of the camera. Have you been coached through the process? Did you have a good experience with the coaching? I think a good story for the people, and it's a reel I'm going to share today, is about how we took one of your videos and we shot it, but then we front loaded the information and shot it again. And it kind of created a more impactful video. Can you speak to that experience?
No, absolutely. And so I've had some experience before, not like this. And so to say that I'm a natural is, I think that'd be naive. However, working with you has been, I feel like a different person coming out of here. I honestly feel like I have a new skill set, and I honestly feel like I can do more of these going forward, and that's what's exciting about where we go from here, because of how you're able to frame everything up strategically and not just, what do you want to say? Go ahead and say it, and I'll just record it. A quick story, when I was looking for a partner when it comes to sales and marketing, I went through many different organizations, and everyone wants to sell you a thing. And I was really looking for someone that understands strategy, understands communication, really understands their business as a whole. And I'm extremely fortunate to be able to be sitting here right now, on starting on this journey to go down this path, because I really feel like I have a partner that, listen, we are at CloudSource.us, we are the best technologists on the planet. That's not a problem. I have no qualms about that side of the house. We're so good at technology that we are not good at explaining it to the average person. And that's historically been our challenge, that we can't translate the deep technical and security-oriented work that we do to a customer really well. And so just sitting with you for the short period and creating some content has really opened up that world and getting our story out to somebody in a way that they understand it, that makes sense to them, and not just to the technologists, because everything's cool on our end. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Right? But getting that translated in a meaningful way and an effective way to our prospects and our customers, that's the only time you have a business, quite frankly.
That's so true. And I appreciate you sharing that. I dropped Naresh into the hot seat here today. We didn't come with any questions ahead of time. And what we're doing right now to paint a picture for you is I'm sitting with the business owner and the sales professional, the person who really drives the business in its essence. And we did some foundational videos on YouTube. And then we did some reels. We did 7 reels. And we're going to discuss some of the content that we did. But now you're prepared, without knowing it, you're prepared to sit and do an interview, because a lot of the answers that you're going to give, you didn't prepare them ahead of time.
No.
You weren't pre-coached on anything you were going to say, but you really focused in on the things that are most important in your business and how to get that message across. So you really you said it in the best way possible. So I appreciate that. That's
Thank you.
Super cool. And what's really cool for me is I don't get to share this that often. So I consider myself a billion-dollar brand builder, but I hate to say that because it's my clients that are the billion-dollar brands. They're doing 500 million in business a year, up, down swing from that. But it's very hard even for myself to convey that to maybe a younger audience or to an audience that might see it as braggadocious. I don't like being that way. One of the coolest parts that comes out of this is you are 100% correct. You are the best in class, if not one of the best in class within your industry. And that's what all of the super agency clients and friends have in common. They are best in class. They are trusted within their community. They're a resource. That's why we say top producers, right? The $100 million producer. That is not an easy statement. It takes a lot to get to that point where you are a well-rounded business owner. You're a top producer within a sales organization. It's not easy. So what we're doing is kind of like old school role playing.
Yeah.
You remember the role playing back in the day? All right, so here's what we're going to do. So I appreciate you guys listening to the first half of this. It's not super technical on IT, but we're going to get into IT now. So I want you to see what just one content day can do for a sales professional or a business owner. Again, we're kind of packing them into one because oftentimes nowadays the business owner is the sales leader.
Yeah. I mean, I venture to say actually in some parts of the journey, but essentially the founder, the visionary, the person that really puts it all on the line is always going to be the best salesperson.
Yeah.
And so whether they can translate that, at that point in time or not, their passion is going to speak. And working with you help translate that passion into, statements that make sense to our prospects.
Yeah, and if a person who comes on and begins working with you as a so they become the sales leader for you, they just basically now need to replicate what you do. They need to understand the type of scripts and the type of things. So again, we're bleeding into old school sales.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat,
absolutely.
Right? So I'm going to ask you a couple questions, and these are the things that we discussed earlier today. They're videos that were scripted. They're videos that really dialed into CloudSource.us and what it does. So we're going to talk about some of the main topics that we went through. One of them is going to be, I want to understand, why does a business utilize IT, and how does that work from a cost perspective?
Yeah. So there is, I'll frame up what I call death by 1,000 cuts, right? So the conventional ways of engaging with an IT partner. Historically, that's done by pay by the hour. Right? When something breaks, you call your IT guy and you pay them by the hour. That's the conventional model.
And that's like an attorney, and that can get so expensive.
Sure.
Like every phone call, every email. There's got to be a better way.
Well, here's the thing. It can get expensive, and seemingly it's cheaper because you only pay for what you use. Mm-hmm. The reality is there's a better way to do that. And think about this for a second. Why wait for something to break to engage help? There are so many aspects of proactivity that can be done to prevent something from breaking. So if you're a business owner, does it not make more sense to prevent downtime in your business as opposed to wait till there is an issue and you do have downtime and then pay for that service? So what we've done is created fixed fee services. Basically, think of walking into an all-inclusive resort. You've been to an all-inclusive resort. I think most people have.
Of course, yeah.
You walk in, there's no cash. You walk in, you probably have a wristband, you probably have a card. They know who you are. They know your name. They know your family. They know everything about you. They probably know what you like, your drinks, your meals. But you walk into the bar and you can pick any drink you want, right? Mm-hmm. That's an all-inclusive resort. You can go to any activity you want, anything on the property, whatever it is. We've taken that concept and brought it to IT. One fixed fee, and you get all the services included, right? So as a business owner, let's just be real. You don't know what you don't know. IT is a very intimidating, yet necessary part of any business. You're not an IT person. You're in your business to be the best at your field.
I'm not an IT person, so honestly, like I get concerned about, and as a web developer as well, I understand, installing of SSL certificates to protect websites, protect the integrity of it's standard operating procedure. If you have a landing page now, you need an SSL. That's different from how it was in prior experiences. So, fixed pricing model, that's going to help the business owners. It's a precarious marketplace out there. Hot topic: ransomware.
Ransomware is unfortunately becoming.
I don't even know. So you're gonna kidnap me, or like I don't get it. Do I get kidnapped and you gotta like? Is that real? And it sounds insane.
They will kidnap your computer.
Okay.
And so just to put it in very layman terms, it's essentially a hacker. Listen, I'm dressed pretty nicely. This is my daily dress.
Yeah.
Right. I go to work to protect my clients. Just like we are doing that at CloudSource, and professionals like us do that, there's someone somewhere dressed like me going to work to hack your computer, to break into your business, to get past our defenses, to be able to take your computer as ransom. And by doing that, they're able to encapsulate your entire ecosystem from a technical perspective, hold it as ransom until you pay them a ransom. That's usually in the form of a lock screen on your computer that are asking for, there's a payment link, pay in crypto. So Bitcoin is pretty popular for that.
Yeah.
You pay in crypto and they'll release it. But here's the thing, you're negotiating, you're paying a hacker. So are they releasing it?
Sounds like a spy movie. So ultimately, what I would be nervous about is if I was like a doctor, right, and I've got all kinds of patient information, HIPAA stuff, right? That's extremely important. If I'm a realtor or a broker, and I've got sensitive financial information, a financial person. So what is the difference between like a managed IT solution versus like a firewall with your Xfinity internet? So like you probably think, oh, I'm all protected. I got Xfinity home internet. I got Xfinity business class internet. I'm all protected. No way they can get me.
I think we can, borrow from the example of cars. You can spend, entry level money on a car, and you can spend a lot of money on a car. And those two cars are very different. They have all the basic components, but quality wise, efficiency, safety, all these things matter. That's the same for IT tools. And so at CloudSource, we use enterprise grade tools. These are the tools that your competitors are using, the biggest companies in the world. That's what they're using. They're not using the stuff that your local IT guy is using. That's the stuff that just checks a box, and all it does is checks a box.
Yeah.
It's not going to actually be effective. So we use tools that we can stand behind, that we can put our credibility behind, that are usually very expensive, but our model, being fixed plan, fixed fee, we've figured out the economics to make it available to you and still allow us to serve you at a very high level.
Now, you're serving people at a high level. You're using terminology like we're serving people at a high level. It's about cost. It's about all of this stuff. So the average consumer, business owner like myself, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'll say it for you. I know you're already thinking it. All right, so you're affordable. You're the best. You got awesome service. You're probably offshore and you got a call center somewhere else, and no way you're doing it all here in the United States.
You would think that, right? And so I think that's the case for every one of our competitors.
Yeah.
We've decided to contain our business to U.S.-based experts only. And so we do not have any offshoring model. We do not employ or partner with any service provider that is offshore. In fact, we work with government agencies. So we have to, again, you talk about regulatory environments, we have to be what's called ITAR compliant, which means we have to have U.S. citizens delivering this service. And so that's what you can expect with CloudSource. We're all U.S. based.
Or at the very least, let me say, also people working in the United States. So you have the ability to if somebody was watching this, maybe you're an exceptional computer programmer, somebody who understands IT, and you're in another country. I don't want you to feel like we're keeping you from the ability to work with a CloudSource.us. He's just basically saying that they have to be vetted and here in the United States, working from the United States. So that's really cool. So that's like, I'm understanding the CloudSource.us, CloudSource.us.
Exactly.
So it's United States. You guys are here, and you're protecting businesses.
Exactly.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. We love what we do.
So okay, so we're rounding the corner here. I think I get it. The cost is making sense in the fixed price model.
Yep.
Because you're here, you're U.S. based. It's a premium level security, the best of the best, protects you from things like ransomware. So explain to me the specific industries that you're in and how they're getting exceptional service. Like, how do you protect those people? We understand they're regulated, but what's a regulated industry?
Yeah, so a good example of a regulated industry would be healthcare, as you alluded to, HIPAA compliance, right? That's protecting your health data. Most people don't realize today that your health record is actually 10 times more valuable on the black market than your credit card number. And so HIPAA is just something that if you're not compliant with HIPAA today and you're in the healthcare space, you probably are not going to be in business for very much longer. So we work with a lot of healthcare organizations. In fact, that's our number one segment that we work with. And that's primarily so because a lot of the CloudSource team, and myself in fact, comes from nationwide healthcare providers. I used to run technology for billion-dollar organizations, healthcare organizations in the US. And so a lot of the capability that's required to run that operation, we brought and built into our platform. So naturally, that's in our DNA.
Yeah.
Right? Compliance and security is just rooted in every single thing that we do. And we talk about security being a layered approach. It's not just one thing, but it's part of what we do. So whether you are in a regulated environment or not, we work with clients that are not in regulated environments as well. They benefit from all of that. So they get all the levels of security, even if they don't require it by the government. So they're still as protected.
That's so cool. Well, listen, Naresh, I appreciate you speaking with me today.
Absolutely.
This has been an awesome experience. There are so many similarities to the end consumer that we speak to.
Yep.
And also, it's not just, like you said, the specific regulated industries. We love helping people that are outside of the regulated industries because then they get to benefit from all the wonderful things that these regulated industries understand and know. So if you have any questions or you have anything you'd like to share for Naresh, or if you'd like to come on and be interviewed in the future, you are more than welcome to. I'm Michael, and you can see us at thesuperagency.com. This is Naresh. You can see his business at cloudsource.us. Don't forget to follow him on social media, Instagram, Facebook. He's going to have his own YouTube channel too, and he's going to be giving you all kinds of updated resources and things to keep your business safe from the security and IT perspective. If you have any more questions, just go ahead and comment below. Thanks. That's it.
Awesome, man.
Great job, dude.
Wonderful.
That was so
Love
cool.
it.
All right, let's stop this.